Yo, I'm pleased, and this is my educational video on how to get better and hopefully stay better at Deadlock. Currently, I'm Ascendant 4, the second highest ranked category in the game. Doesn't really mean anything too much. You play this game kind of often. Rank is just not very good right now with the MM, and plus it's an early alpha game, so I'm making this video for a friend and maybe some other friends that might want to play in the future. I imagine this video is going to be pretty lengthy, so I'll set up sections on the YouTube timeline so you can skip to or maybe even come back to anything you missed or just want to hear again so you don't forget. So for the first section, we're going to go over your HUD and the spawners, right? Your HUD is very important. I cannot stress enough how important your HUD is. As you can see at the top, it lets you know pretty much everything. It lets you know the enemy's health, the soul lead you have on them, and also it lets you know what items the enemy has bought and what your team has bought, and also what points they're putting into their abilities. You should be looking at your top bar when you're taking 1v1 fights, when you're going for mid boss and looking out to see what ults they have. You should be looking at it at Rift to see what items, who has what items, and also who has ult, and to see if they have a soul lead on you or not. And if they have a major soul lead, you should probably not fight them because you're gonna get wiped. You should always be looking at your top bar. Another thing you should be looking at even more than your top bar is the map. If you take anything away from this video, let it be this: always look at your map. This thing right here, the map, literally tells you everything you need to know. It lets you know what enemies are on and off the map, what enemies are in LOS or clearing wave and all that. You should be looking at your map every single like 15 to 30 seconds. I'm not even exaggerating. You should always be looking at this map. If you're clearing a wave by yourself, look at that map. If you're taking a farm, look at that map. If you're in a team fight, you should still kind of be looking and glancing at the map. Your map is technically essential. I know most of you in the low ranks that are like probably like even in the Oracle are not looking at this map enough. This map is too important to not look at. You should, like I said, you should be looking at this map every possible time you can. Clearing waves, getting boxes. When you're in a 1v1 fighting, like when you're getting centers, you should always be looking at this map. Like I said, if you could take anything away from this video and only learn one thing, let it be look at the map. It's just too important. Now we're gonna go over the spawners. The first spawn of anything is the tier 1 camps, right? This little triangle at the very bottom of the map. Those are your tier 1 camps, and they spawn at 2 minutes. You should be looking to take these as soon as you clear a wave, or you should be looking to steal these if you don't have one on your side at the 2 minute mark after clearing a wave and pushing up your own. Those are the first spawns. The next spawn is at 3 minutes, and it's boxes. Boxes spawn at 3 minutes, and you should be doing this in between wave clears. If you push up your wave and you're just gonna set a spawn or just wait for the next wave to push, go do boxes. Boxes scale over time. The longer the game goes on, the more souls they have, and you're getting more souls between the downtime of waves, so it's important to get these boxes. And it's also important to get the Buddha statues or the golden statue buffs, because they give you a permanent buff that lasts the entire game, right? There's multiple of them. There's one that gives you spirit power, there's one that gives you base health, cooldown, fire rate, gun damage. It's all random, but they are permanent throughout the game. You should definitely be picking golden statue buffs up in between wave clears. The next spawn is tier 2 camps. Tier 2 camps spawn at 5 minutes. Another thing is bridge buffs. Bridge buffs also spawn at 5 minutes. You can tell what the tier 2 camps are by them on the map. They are these little triangles with lines underneath them. These are the tier 2s. Like I said, they spawn every 5 minutes, and you should always be going after these bridge buffs at the 5 minutes timer. You should be clearing your wave as fast as possible when it's close to 5 minutes, and you should take the vents to the bridge to get the buffs and contest them. They're very important early game, right? And they respawn, the bridge buffs respawn every 5 minutes. The next respawn is tier 3s and centers at 8 minutes. The tier 3s respawn every 5 minutes and 35 seconds after being taken. These also apply to the other ones, right? So if you take a tier 1 camp at the time they spawn, which is 2 minutes, they'll respawn in 1 minute and 25 seconds from being taken. And if tier 2 taken camps are taken when they spawn, which is at the 5 minutes, they respawn in 4 minutes and 50 seconds from being taken. Now when I say taken, I mean completely taken. You cannot leave one of the farm things there, the creeps or whatever you want to call them. You cannot leave one. If you leave one, they will not respawn. You have to take all of them for them them to respawn. Now, centers are very important. You should be looking to take these kind of when they spawn. It kind of depends on how your lane is going. Your lane is going pretty good and the 8-minute mark hits, you should definitely be looking to take your own centers or maybe even steal the enemy centers. Taking centers is very important. You get souls and you get permanent buffs from taking centers if you do them correctly. If you mess up these centers, right, you will just get the souls and you won't get the permanent buffs. Now, to do the centers correctly, you have to wait till the light hits the very right side of centers for you to get the permanent buffs. You should be doing a heavy melee around the 3rd or 4th light bulb, right, to get the heavy buff. Now, say you do time perfectly, but you only do it with a light melee, you'll only get 1 permanent buff. So make sure you get the 4. And if you can take an enemy centers safely, taking away them 4 permanent buffs and the souls that come with it are a huge advantage. Now, say that you're taking an enemy centers, but you can't get the 4 permanent buffs or even the singular buff because the enemy's coming, just take the center. It's better for them not to have the buffs and souls if you just take it. But also make sure you confirm the souls coming out of the centers so you don't lose any of the money that comes from it. The next spawner is at 10 minutes and it's the urn. It respawns every 5 minutes, even if you deposit or not. First spawns at 10 and it's going to spawn at yellow. And if you don't do it in the entirety of the 5 minutes, it will just go straight to green. Now, this might change because they've already changed this once. Urn used to spawn at green at first. Now it spawns at yellow. So this, depending on how old this video is and how far you're watching it, this might have already been changed. But as of right now, of July 27th, it still spawns on yellow when it first comes up. Now, the next spawn is Rift. This one is a bit different from the others. It's fairly new, so it spawns between 11 to 13 minutes. So it could spawn at 11 minutes, 12 minutes, or 13 minutes. It's just depending on the game. And at whatever time it spawns, after that spawn, it'll spawn 7 minutes after. So if it spawns at 11 minutes in game, then the next respawn will be at 18 minutes. If it spawns at 12, it'll be 19 minutes. And if it spawns at 13, it'll respawn at 20 minutes, right? So on and so forth. Next is mid boss. So they actually changed mid boss. Mid boss, I think, is now just completely up when the game starts. It didn't used to be like that. It used to spawn at the 10-minute mark. Again, this could be changed as I'm making this video, depending on how old it is and depending how long ago you're watching this, right? But as of right now, it just spawns as soon as the game starts. Now, I'm going to put this part here, even though it's not technically a spawner. Walkers and guardians have resistances that decrease over time, right? I'm not going to say, or I'm not going to bore you with the numbers, but I will put up a graph on the screen showing you what the resistances are at the beginning of the round or the game to what they later or to what they go to later on. If it's just too much, like the bridge spawner, the buffs, or the camp spawns or whatever, I recommend just download Top Bar Plus or the other one. I forgot what the other one is, but download Top Bar Plus. I'm not going to show you how to download it in this video. There are already like a couple videos that you can go look up on how to install mods. So if you want to go install a mod that helps you with the timers and all that, just download Top Bar Plus. So we're done with section 1. Now we're going to move on to section 2 of the video. We're going to go over the laning phase, running to do boxes when wave is cleared, or if you just have a really bad lane, clearing versus freezing the lane, ganking. This isn't going to be an in-depth video on how to lane properly or whatever, right? These are just more of the basics that you should be doing in lane, right? If you really want a in-depth video, I recommend watching Heresy's educational video on laning, how to lane like an E6 player. An hour long. It goes over pretty much everything you need to know. It's super educational. I recommend you go watch it. I'll leave the link in the description below. So for laning, the first thing we're talking about are the minions. Do not underestimate the minions. They will absolutely shred you if you just disrespect them or don't respect them, right? I can't tell you how many times I've seen people lose like 400 health to minions alone, and then they get jumped and killed by the enemy, and now they're blaming their teammate like, oh, where were you? Why didn't you help me? Respect the minions. Respect them. You should be taking minions behind your own wave or in cover, okay? I cannot stress this enough. Please respect the minions. And let's say if they clear the wave faster than you, instead of just taking the brunt of the wave and staying pushed up, push back behind your guardian or away from your guardian so that the wave crashes into it and that the guardian takes all the brunt of the damage while you play in cover. You can safely take the wave. At no point should you ever be standing in front of 4 minions and just be eating up the damage, right? It's just too much. They'll easily get you down to half if you don't respect them. So play behind cover. If it's too late and they're already pushed up, just play behind guardian and take them. Like I said earlier, if they do push up, they're not taking the tower because of the resistances it has. It's just too much. There's no possible, it's practically impossible to take wave in the first 1 or 2 minutes of the game. It's just not going to happen. Now, when I say that, I don't mean just like never pay attention and never clear wave and just let it crash on the Guardian. If you just let wave crash on the Guardian every single time, your tower will definitely be taken in 3 to 4 minutes because you're just completely ignoring it, right? You shouldn't be doing boxes all the time between waves or in wave when wave is up pushing your tower. At that point, you're just throwing the game because right now it's a heavily snowball meta, so winning lane is kind of important right now. When you clear your first wave, you should get, I think it's like either 900 souls or it should be around 800 souls because you start off with 6 something, and a total wave will give you like 895 or something. When you clear that first wave, immediately go back and buy something from the item shop. If you do not buy something immediately after first wave, you are already at a disadvantage because you're pushing up with your minions, crashing into the tower, and the enemy has already bought either a sustain item or a damage item while you have literally nothing. You're just at a disadvantage, so immediately go buy. Now, when you go to buy your item, please check what the enemies have also bought. Remember, if you look at your top bar and press whatever button it is, minus tab, you see what the enemies have bought, what they put points into. This lets you gauge on what route they're taking, if they're going to do an ult build, a gun build, or they're going to do a support build or straight spirit power, right? Look at the enemy's buys. If you don't look at the enemy's buys and you're just ignorant to them, you will lose the game. Because if you just go straight for power spikes and you don't respect on what they have, you're going to be buying items that they might already have counters to, and that 3600 item or maybe even 6400 item is just completely useless now because you're not checking what the enemy has. Now, remember when I said the spawn for tier 1 camps? When you should be clearing wave as fast as you can so that you can take your camp undetested, right? Because your enemy should and probably will be trying to take your camp, because that means less souls for you and more souls for them. Now, if you're on the opposite side and you don't have a tier 1 camp on your side, you need to steal their camp. You need to push wave so you can steal theirs. Now, if you're going for the steal, you can freeze the lane and kind of manipulate how far the wave goes up so that you can push wave into tower at the exact same time the tier 1 spawns, right? And if you do that, the enemy should be clearing their wave instead of worrying about you taking their tier 1 camp. Now we're going to talk about ganking. If you're in blue lane, i.e. the middle lane, you should be looking to gank. What ganking means, it's essentially just going to one of the side lanes and helping a teammate get a kill or just saving their life. Ideally, it's getting a kill so you can push under tower and do damage to it. If you're an Archon or a Mystiary, you don't have to do this. It should be something on your mind that you should probably be doing because it does help. If you're an Oracle Plus, you should be ganking. You are at a disadvantage if you are not ganking and the enemy does. Ganking helps a ton. Remember, it is a snowball meta. Say you're on Calico, which is a very, like, one of the best ganking characters in the game, and you keep ganking to the enemy sidelines, keep getting kills, and just snowball, you're pretty much unstoppable, right? There's nothing the enemy team can really do unless you just play the mid game to end game horribly and you throw your lead. You should be ganking if you're like an Oracle up. There are characters that are better at ganking than others. Like I said earlier, Calico is one of the best gankers in the game because of her cat form and all that. She can sneakily come up behind people and just get a free damage because of her bombs, her tier 2 bombs or whatever, or tier 1 bombs. Someone that wouldn't gank is someone like McGinnis. Again, not something set in stone. You don't have to do this, but you should definitely be looking to do it in games. Now we're going to talk about tower diving. Tower diving is when you dive the tower when an enemy is low so that you stop the tower from doing any damage and you're able to kill the enemy. When should you tower dive? It's pretty situational. You'll get better at it just over time by playing more and more and seeing when an opportunity is good to tower dive and when it's not. Usually you should tower dive when you have a couple bars of stamina and a couple of abilities that are off cooldown that have the right to kill somebody. And you should probably be doing this like around 4 minutes, maybe even 3 if you're lucky. The reason I say that is because you should not be tower diving in a minute in or 2 minutes in. You are extremely squishy. You have like 1 ability up, maybe even 2 if you're lucky. You're even if you do go up to the tower, parry it, the stun time is not that long, right? It'll still hurt you. And in fact, it'll shred you because you're so squishy early game. You need to have at least a couple bars of stamina so you can dive in, parry, and you can dive towards the enemy to kill them with an ability off cooldown. You'll just get better over time by having a feeling a good tower dive or bad tower dive. It's just something you learn over and over by playing. Limit testing is huge in this game. You should pretty much be pushing. Limit testing is just pushing to see what you can and can't do, right? If you don't limit push, how do you know you're capable of doing something that you didn't think you were, right? You should be limit pushing. And rank doesn't, and like I said earlier, rank does not matter. It's a early alpha game, and rank kind of just sucks right now because the MM, and they can tomorrow, as soon as this video comes out tomorrow, they can just reset completely the ranks, so it doesn't matter. Game is still early. Do different builds, right? Experiment, play different play styles, play new characters, learn new characters. It's not that serious. Just have fun. It's a game, right? Limit tests. For section 3, we're gonna go over mid to late game, what you should be buying and counter buying, not always going left to right, playing for team fights around objectives like Rift, mid boss, Earn. Even though Earn is no longer a team objective, people still treat it as you kind of want Earn to be delivered, and also to play around like characters like your frontliner or your pick character to secure a kill. Those are what we're going to be going over. First, let's talk about buying and counter buying and buying left to right. I think buying is my weakest link in my gameplay, right? I think if I was better at buying, I would be a bit better at the game, right? I wouldn't have stressed so much over it, but I digress. I don't have a problem buying left to right necessarily. I have a problem if that's all you do and you put little to no thought in what you're buying. If you put little to no thought in what you're buying, you're never going to get better because you're not consciously aware of what you're doing. You're just droning out, clicking left to right and just hoping it works. Again, it's not bad if you do left to right sometimes. You need to put some thought into your buys. Like, buying is kind of a core thing in this game, and if your buys are shit, you're not going to have fun. If you're in lane and say the build just doesn't have extra regen for some reason, you're just getting doo-dooed on in lane, and instead of going for that extra spirit or that gun item or whatever, buy a green item, buy extra regen, buy healing right, buy a sustain item to keep you up in fight. Because if you're just buying your power spikes but you can't do nothing with them, what's the point of buying them? That is a wasted buy that won't get you anything. Sometimes you should even buy extra regen or healing right as your first item, so you have sustain. Like most pocket builds have healing right because he is so squishy, and it's sometimes his first buy, right? So he has sustain in lane, so he doesn't have to leave lane, reset, and come back. Put thoughts into your buys. Usually how it goes is if you're up, buy survivability. If you're down, buy your strength and core item, so you have power. When it comes to counter buying, you should only counter buy like at least 2 things. Any more than that, you're at a disadvantage, because if you just keep counter buying to what they buy, you're not going to have any slots for your own core items to help you do damage or anything like that. You're just kind of useless with a bunch of survivability and no damage. So try to at least buy 2 counter items to an enemy that's really giving you trouble. I would honestly go 3 max with the counter buying. Any more than that, you're losing slots on power up or your power spikes and all that. And it also depends on what character. If you're playing a support characters are also buying straight counter items to disengage enemies. So like if you're Paige or whatever, and if they have an enemy Wraith or Haze or Venator that's like super strong on gun, you should be buying like Rust Barrel if they're already in your lane, or you should be buying disarming hex so they can't shoot their gun at all. Just put a little thought into what you're buying. It goes a long way. I'm still working on it. Like I said earlier, I still think buying is one of my worst traits in this game. If I'm not gonna go on exactly on what counters what and who counters who for counters. If you want that, there's already videos about that. I believe a Shire, I think that's his name, the one of the last E6 players, he has a what to buy against every character, right? Like Infernus, you would buy Spell Magic. Against like a Venator, you would buy Metal Skin. I'll leave a link into the video, watch it, it'll help you even more learning on what counters what and all that. Let's say it's mid game, all the Guardians are gone, there's just walkers. What do? You, depending on what character you play and what your teammates are playing, you should be playing around them and looking to make a move either on Rift, on Earn, or looking for a pick on mid boss. If you have a Haze, you should be playing with Haze, or if they're not already calling what they want to do, you should be like, Haze, you should look for someone so we can pick, so we can go do the objective, so they're 1 down and we can get this objective up and going, and we can maybe even split push into a walker, or maybe the enemy is already down a couple, and so you tell your team, hey, let's split push so we can at least get a couple walkers, 1 walker, or maybe even 2 walkers while they're down, or you want to go mid boss instead of walkers. With mid boss, you should definitely kill, depending on how early you do it, you should be looking at who has what and who they don't have and do have for mid boss. Very rarely, and I mean super very rarely, will people like an Ascendant below will get a mid boss done under 20 minutes. It's just, you just won't really see it. An Ascendant and higher, maybe even Phantom, I don't know, I haven't been in Phantom for quite a long time, it's not a flex. I don't know how early they go mid boss sometimes. In the higher ranks,
ranks, I've seen mid boss done at like 15 or 16 minutes because the whole team will dive and the enemy team will die and someone will shot call go mid boss. But you have to do it as soon as they call it, because if you don't do it as soon as they call it, they're up and going, right? The spawns early game are super short, right? It's like 15-20 seconds, and if you don't do it when they call, it's useless. You can't go mid boss. So say rift comes up and you kill everybody on rift, you should shot call go mid, even if it's before 20 minutes. You have to let them know, hey, go straight to mid boss, get the rejuves, and when you have mid boss is when you can do whatever. Now let's talk about when you do have rejuves. What should you do if there's still walkers up? If walkers are still up, like all 3 or maybe even 2 of them, and you have rejuve, the first thing you should do is not just straight push walkers. If the enemy team has a whole lot of farm up, push your waves up and take their farm. Let's say you take mid boss and you go immediately for walkers and you use all your rejuves and you get maybe 1 walker out of it. Rejuves last for 3 minutes. If you were to take all their farm, go by and split push their walkers, you're most likely taking 2 walkers. You're more powerful than they are. You have a way considerable soul lead than they do, and you have rejuve. And you also want to do objectives. Like walkers should kind of be the last thing you do with mid boss rejuves, if that makes sense. I'm not saying that walkers aren't important, you shouldn't do them when you have mid boss. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you should take their camps to get as much souls as you can, and if there's no objectives besides walkers, split push walkers. But if there's still objectives to be done like earn or rift, you should definitely be doing earn and rift so you get even more souls from the objectives, then push your walk. Same goes if they don't have any walkers. Say it's just straight base guardians, you should still steal their camp. You should use at least a minute to steal camps so you have a soul lead on them. Like a perfect example is right here, like I'm showing you. We kill everybody, we go mid. Hayes is shot calling here saying we get mid and we split between base, or he's saying that some of us should have been doing base and mid boss. Not everyone should be at mid boss, which I agree. I think some of us fucked up there, but you should be split pushing things, right? Not everyone has to go into mid boss, right? People like Paige are not going to do any damage to mid boss, so maybe Paige and someone else that's not very good at doing damage to mid boss would go take a walker or maybe the base guardians and maybe even a shrine. Again, everything is situational. You just have to learn to play off the situations you're given and just learn what to do and what not to do. It's from trial and error. This whole thing is just trial and error. Let's talk about stopping fed players. Let's just do the most common example, like a Wraith or Venator or 7 that got super fed in lane and you need to stop them. You don't want these characters to be more fed than they already are. And what these M1 characters will do is they'll go into side lanes where they're by themselves and no one really goes over there. They'll just clear wave after wave after wave, and then they'll do the tier 1s, tier 2s, tier 3s centers while clearing waves in between, so they get the most souls by themselves and they can buy their spikes because gun just scales better over time than spear. You need to pick those characters off. If you are playing Haze, Bebop, Calico, any pick characters, you need to tell your team or someone to play with you to stop this character from being fed, because if you just let them sit in that lane for like 20 minutes, it's over. They're going to output so much damage. You're going to be like, how did this dude get so fed? And you're going to realize he has like 1 kill, like 3 assists. You're like, how is he doing this much damage? And it's because they've just been farming in the side lanes. You need to communicate to your team to stop the fed characters. It's very important. I have single-handedly lost game because we're just ignoring the characters side laning, and we're like, how did this dude get so fed? It's because we didn't stop him. We just let him side lane. Give them no breathing room. Always put constant pressure on them. Wherever they go, try to pick them off. Communicate with your team. Hey, let's go pick this dude or this character before they become a real problem. Let's talk about late game. What I kind of said about playing around your team and what you should be doing with mid boss kind of already relates to in game, right? How you should be playing around your characters so you can do whatever. When it comes to end game, I would say 30 plus minutes is around end game. At this point, y'all are just looking for a singular pick to go and fight mid. So y'all should pretty much be staying all together. All right, let's go over section 4. Now, the other parts of this section were how to like get better in lane, mid game, right? And it's basically how the get better portion of this video. This next portion is how to try and help you stay better at this game. I know a lot of you, when you're playing this game, when you die or there's nothing going on, you're listening to music, you're watching a YouTube video, or maybe you're listening do a podcast, or when you're dead, you're on your phone. Do not do that. I have a friend that when he dies, immediately goes onto his phone. This is holding you back. And I swear it really is. Because your first instinct when you die is to just consciously just do something else, right? To keep that brain stimulated. Either to alt tab out or get on your phone. You are putting up a mental wall on how to get better because you are doing this. If you truly want to get better, you have to be consciously aware of what you're doing and what decisions you're making, whether they are right or wrong. When you die, early game or even late game, the game is not over. What you should be doing when you die, you should be telling your team comms what the enemy is doing, where the enemy is at, what abilities the enemy has, and what objectives are up, and what you can and can't do. You should also be looking at your next buy, because as when you're dead and you just buy left to right, not putting any thought into what you're buying, and go straight to your phone, you're not learning on what you're doing. You're just droning out and being like, oh, I'm just gonna buy this and hopefully it goes all well. Be consciously aware of what you're doing. That is how you, this doesn't even go for Deadlock by itself. This goes for literally anything, even in life. Be consciously aware of what you are doing. If it's Deadlock or Fortnite, Call of Duty, whatever game you play and you want to get better at, you have to be consciously aware of what you're doing. This is how you stay on top of everything. Like, yeah, I just gave you the other sections on how to be better, right? But if you maybe you're taking an advice like one at a time, well, that's fine. But then you forget. That's because you're not consciously aware of what you're doing. You saw the video and you droned out. You're like, oh, okay, I get it. But you're not really absorbing what I'm taking or putting into your head. So please stop getting on your phone and stop alt tabbing into other things and play the game. I know I sound like your parents. It's that damn phone. It really is that sometimes. And as you can see, I'm kind of getting frustrated at this because it's like you want to get better, but you're not really learning how to get better. You say, oh, I'm doing this and that, but are you really? Like you do it, but you're not consciously aware of why you're doing it, how you're doing it, and what's the purpose of doing it, right? You just have to be aware, consciously aware. I know I keep saying that a lot, but it's so true throughout anything. Here is a perfect example. This is from a stream like a month ago that I turned into a video. I'm just going to show you what happens. Right? We're doing our thing. We're taking Rift. We're all on it. Right? This is old patch. This is earn Rift. I die. Now, most of y'all here would immediately be alt tabbing to go look at something or on your phone. That is where you're messing up. I know I keep repeating it, but look, what I do is I'm giving out comms. Who should you be focusing on? Like, just watch the video, right? Like here, I say, Yam has her ult. She pops ult. Look at this. Wait, these guys are trolling on you. These guys are not respecting Yam. I give out the call and she immediately ults. Whether she realized she had it or not, it doesn't matter. He immediately reset all his abilities off cooldown. You should be giving calls like this when you are dead. You are not useless when you are dead. You are still very important. Please stop getting on your phone. It's not bad to do that. Say there really is nothing to do. Say you made the comms, everyone's dead, and there's nothing you can do. Then that's fine. There's like, you know what I'm saying? That's fine. You get on your phone, alt tab real quick. A majority of y'all that are stuck in such low elos, maybe like Oracle, Emissary, Seeker, or whatever, I know y'all are on your phones or alt tab. I know that for a fact. Be useful. Look at what you are buying too. I probably should have put this in the other section, but if you don't know what an item does, read it. An item will tell you everything, right? So like on Venator, his resist scale on Spirit 0.1%, 0.12% scale. Now, does that mean you're gonna buy like 5 Spirit items on Venator? Absolutely not. You should buy like maybe 2 at max, because he's just a gun focused character. It should be guns and greens. Like Haze, her mag capacity scales off Spirit. So if you were playing Haze, one of your first items is extra Spirit because it helps you with your dagger and it gives you increased mag size so you can shoot longer, so you can proc fixation on. Learn the shop. Be consciously aware of what it does. I know now this was kind of a long video, like it kind of like more over a gloss over than going too in depth, right? Because if I went super in depth on everything, this would easily be like a 3-hour, 4-hour video. This was more of a, hey, do this, but also be aware of what you're doing to get better. right? What you can do is just learn one thing at a time. Say you want to work on your builds one day, work on your builds for one day. Say you want to work on your movement one day, work on your movement for one day, work on your positioning the other day, right? And so on and so forth. Because I gave you a lot of information and it's kind of just impossible to take it all in and implement it at all times. Take things one step at a time. Like what's easier, sprinting up a hill or walking upstairs? You know what I'm saying? Take it one step at a time. Learn one thing one day, learn another the other. Because it's just a lot of information your brain has to process and it's going to forget things here and there. That's why I made the timestamp so you can come back if you want to come back and look at it. In case you forgot. Sorry if I was rambling, right? I imagine there's a bunch of like cuts in the audio. It's because I did write a script for this and I tried to record the script like 4 times, but I hated the way it came out. So I'm kind of just doing this live while showing you these background stuff. And wow, that was embarrassing. Don't look at this. I fucked up my movement and everything. But yeah, the editing will be much better. I'm going to obviously put examples of spawn times and all of that without the script. I have key notes that I did want to go over and I did go over. Me rambling is just kind of chopped. Because I hate doing scripts. I really do. They don't feel authentic to me. This recording's an hour long already. I doubt the video will be that long. I'm pretty sure the video will be like 30 minutes because I just keep going over the same point over and over again. I'll just cut those out and then I'll have examples on the screen. But yeah, remember, if you could take one thing away from this entire video, look at the map and also get off that damn phone. That's about it. You get off that damn phone and look at the map and be consciously aware of what you're doing. You'll go to the fucking moon. I promise you. You'll go to the moon. All right, peace.